thing's falling. This thing's falling. Does it work?
You've got a big gap there.
You got a mic.
Very big gap.
Oh, come on, Jakub. I need
He's
to.
getting a mic.
There we go.
I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Another one bites the dust.
We're just dropping like flies at the moment, aren't we?
Wait. Oh, more technical difficulties.
It's okay. We only have 58 seconds left.
Whenever you're ready, Gustav.
I'm taking my time, okay?
Such a diva.
You know, game development is hard. So is setting up a mic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Yay!
Really sorry.
Always late to the party. So I need to start by saying, like, none of these people are John Wright. As you probably know. Sadly, John fell a bit ill this morning, so we haven't been able to get him on the panel. We do, however, have two beautiful substitutions.
I think they want you to switch or something.
I think we're completely wrong anyway. That's okay.
It's okay. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Sure, of
Musical
course.
chairs.
Let's play
Can we
Tetris.
play some music?
The chaos.
This is
So this is how the whole talk's going to go. By the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see this is going to be fun. We wanted to bring the entertainment to you. All right, so let's start with introductions. Lewis?
Yeah, hi. Been in the games industry since 2006. Used to work in console gaming in the early days, and then since 2013, been in mobile. Worked at companies like Take-Two or 2K, Gameloft, King, Scopely, and now I'm at Rovio. I've been at Rovio for 3 years.
Not many left on the list, is there, Rick?
And I lead marketing for the company, and I'm part of the leadership team.
Amazing. Gustav?
Right, I'm with Pixel Federation, and that's the whole list of my gaming companies. And I'm responsible for strategic partnerships, but that basically means that I'm trying to find any opportunity where we can grow.
I also used to work at Pixel Federation before.
That was before me.
Yeah, but now
Before he became famous.
now doing the podcast 2.5 Gamers with Felix and Matej, and pretty much consulting and helping studios all around the place.
I also used to work at Rovio. So last 11 years doing user acquisition, ad monetization for over 50 games, all mobile. And now VP at Cosmic Launch, doing AI-based games.
Did you look at that to remember where you worked?
Yeah.
At this point.
Like, what company do I work for?
All right, so look, what I wanted to do today, when I was asked to talk here, I thought it'd be quite fun to get a load of really interesting people together and talk about the games industry, talk about what we could, if we were going to start a studio now, what we would do. So really, the first place I wanted to start here, and if anybody's got questions, feel free to bring them to us. Let's do this as a community event, right? A hive brain, as it were. So the first area that I want to start is, like, I've seen a lot of companies recently sort of starting up with, this is what the data says, this is exactly what we should do, this is the data-driven approach to success. And then I've seen a lot of companies starting up going, no, we're doing creative, we're doing something that's new, something that hasn't been done before. What do we think? What is the right way of approaching a new studio? Gus, you're nodding.
I'll just take
you're
this
nodding.
one. As the market researcher, based on data, I say no. Let's ignore the data completely. No. So it's interesting because I feel like there's a divide of people that are obsessed over product and obsessed over creativity and authorial view. That segment has actually been lowering and lowering throughout the years, but to make space for people that are based just on market research and data and trying to find, if, let's say, a match-free game has been successful in the past and it has this percentage of success rate, let me just do the exact same thing and I will also have that success rate.
As a gamer, that's scary to me.
And it doesn't work that way exactly if you think about it, because every time you try to ride a wave, you're always getting diminishing returns on the second, third, fourth place. So you're never going to truly get to the top charts like that. And unfortunately, and this is a conversation I had with Jakub yesterday, I feel that what's been going on is the floor has been rising slowly. The industry is maturing and maturing. It's not that easy anymore to have success. So you cannot aim for middling. You have to aim for the top just to kind of survive over time.
But should it be you're aiming for the top by essentially copying something that's already out there, or should you be doing something that there is no best practices for? You know, like obviously there's best practices set up for match 3 and everything now, but
Copying really doesn't work anymore,
Yeah.
because that was the part that the bar raised, basically.
yeah.
You need to be smarter. So what you need to do is like take other people's stuff still. Like we're still doing that. Copying is the way.
I mean, that's always
of course,
happened in gaming.
but you need to copy smart, which means you basically need to iterate. Take whatever works the best in the other games and like make it your better one. Like let's say, let's look at the merch category, a close one here. In the end, the biggest company is Microfun, which is a Chinese company that has copy of all of the merge games on the market, basically. And they were given better than the originals.
Well, this is it, though. They're improving as they're releasing them, though.
Yeah,
It's not just a direct
Yeah,
copy.
exactly. And that's hard. That's very hard to do.
I would say like rule number 1, be a Chinese company.
Yeah.
But I would probably rephrase it into getting inspired by other games, not copying them. But just the very phrasing it, it's like if you get inspired and you do things a little bit differently than just mere copying it. That's what I would say.
I mean, but come on, it's like you had Merge Mansion is starting, paving the way towards both of them,
Yeah.
and they created the genre, and they got a lot of benefit out of creating something new.
Of course.
And then it just happens to be that people are really good at copying now and overtaking them.
But you don't have to be first. Like, I mean, look at
Exactly.
look at Monopoly Go. It's basically Coin Master with Monopoly, and then you have
Literally
a
board kings, basically.
Yeah, and exactly like board games, and yet it's the biggest success. I mean, Coin Master's doing extremely well as well now, but like, just because Coin Master was first doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win, right? So being first doesn't always mean you're going to win. But
It's the thing they iterated there, because Monopoly Go did iterate, actually. It's just you don't see it on the surface.
Yes.
Like the progression system with the album that they took from Yahtzee with Friends and their live ops meta that they put there, like that's the key part
Yeah,
that was
because
happening.
Coin Master was a huge success when it was first released in the fact that
But it was
a
basically
merge of two genres.
It was basically Pirate Kings before. Again,
Yeah.
the same thing happened there.
All right, so bringing that back to our studio, what would we, like, I'm really interested to know what you would think about building right now, and what would your approach be to what you think we should build?
the way I'm thinking about it now, I don't know if this works, but
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I'm sat next to you, but I can hear you.
So the way I think about it now is, like, you have games like Whiteout Survival or Last War. You have obviously Monopoly Go, Royal Match, etc. What I'm noticing is genres that used to be very high LTV genres that did well before ATT. So think of like 4X or Social Casino. These were genres that had really high LTV, and they were doing super well pre-ATT. They then struggled a lot post-ATT because they couldn't get the whales, like the whale hunting that they used to have, because they didn't have very good marketability.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing games that are still doing that genre, but they have really good marketability. And so it's that merging of a genre, like economy design and systems design, that is very high LTV, but that it's sort of wrapped in a very casual, very approachable, very like...
Let's be honest, man.
like-
They literally put the creatives into onboarding.
Exactly.
That's what they did there.
Yeah. I mean,
It works.
With Last War as an example, the core gameplay is like hyper casual almost, but it ends up being stat-based core gameplay, and at the end of the day, you're just doing 4x most of the time.
The important iteration that they have there, that in Last War, you keep playing the hyper-casual gates mechanic throughout the whole game,
Okay.
not just the
So
onboarding.
it still feels authentic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Go on then, who else?
we can talk about that in that case, and I see it on my day-to-day. The market research actually, for marketability, it still makes a lot of sense, like trying to find the right IP, the right brand, the right approach, the right messaging to get the marketability out of the gate. That I understand market research and data and past data to find what are the trends that people are willing to consume there. But then when it comes to, for instance, the game design aspect of it, I don't think that if you do a straight up copy of, let's say, a hobby or something like a game or something like that, it will just straight up work to get you to the top charts. Although you can still iterate with a lot of quality, but then the bar of quality is so goddamn high that you're competing with the entire world's worth of resources just to get there. So I would actually advise, yes, keep market researching to figure out what's not there yet, what is marketable, what will help you with that side. But then on the game design, I actually am a huge advocate for coming up with purely new designs from the get-go on the core side. Meta is easier
Which
to...
is super hard, by the way.
Exactly.
Like, by the way, I recommend go on Steam, steal the core gameplay that works there, iterate it on mobile. That's what everybody does.
Actually, it's funny you should mention that, because I've been thinking about what I would do if I was starting a company right now. And really, I would grab some very talented people from mobile, and I would also grab some PC and console veterans. And I think I would try and merge the two without too many battles.
Mobile Helldivers?
I mean, I could play the moderator role, you know, like let's try and make everyone happy here. But I think that feels to me the way that the industry's going right now. There's a huge shift towards Steam and everything else, and I do think that if you can really sort of bring the AAA, or in Ubisoft's case, the quadruple A approach to gaming, I think across to mobile in a way that's actually accessible and usable, not like the premium titles that have been released from Sony and that kind of stuff recently. I really think you can start to produce something interesting. And it's not something that has been done successfully right now. So that would be my approach right now.
I would even add to that. I would actually do also a game where you would have like very different gameplay for different platforms, right? So there's a gameplay for mobile. It's still the same game, but it's aimed at. So if you're on mobile, obviously you cannot do things you can do on PC, right? So I would have that, to be honest.
I would actually argue that that is exactly where there's a lot of design space left, is that a lot of people in PC just do not know the specificities of mobile, and kind of vice versa, to be frank. And so a lot of these ports have failed in that usability aspect when they come to mobile, and that's where you find, for instance, a Stumble Guys that actually nailed that passing on to mobile, and that's how they succeed so far.
Before the original.
The Fall Guys. but I think like
they both work well.
But when you think about free to play, right? So you're at the end of the day, we're talking about free to play. So whether it's mobile or on another platform, what needs to happen in free to play? Because you talk about innovating on core gameplay. Like the reason a match 3 swap game does so well is because it's the same reason why Sudokus do well. You could play a Sudoku 100 times for 40 years, and every time you play, it's going to feel unique. It's going to feel fun, and you can repeat over and over and over again. Match 3 swap is the #1 genre in puzzle because there's something innately interesting about every time you play a new puzzle, it feels new, it feels fresh. You're doing it again, so you can play that. It's sticky. You can play that for years. So you need a core. Like if you think of like Call of Duty, why do people play Call of Duty for years?
It really feels like you're queuing up a question for Gus on how do we bring AI into level building.
Oh please!
But I'm just saying, like,
I promise not to say the word AI on stage.
but like a Call of Duty, right? You can play online Call of Duty over and over and over and over and over again, and that's what a game as service needs to have. Is like we can talk about meta for years, but the actual core gameplay needs to be sticky, and you need to be able to play it like constantly.
It needs to have depth in the system design, basically. That's all about it, but it's freaking hard to
so it sounds easy, but like building a match 3 game is super hard.
I have a question though. Do we have to talk only about free to play? Does it have to be free to play?
No.
Well, you can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, because for me it's like I really do like a little bit of that.
I mean, we can talk about a premium game, like we were talking yesterday about Balatro.
I can also talk about something that's not free to play, that uses free to play if you want.
Okay, wait. One at a time. I'll go first, very quick.
As you can see, this was completely planned out.
So chaos.
So you had a game, an indie game, a hit indie game on Steam, Balatro, like a poker roguelike fusion that was made
on Apple Arcade and premium purchase, right?
Yeah.
Now, yes. First week.
Mobile $9.99.
The first week.
Buy it here.
Buy it now. $9.99. You would think, oh, it's premium. Premium is so hard nowadays; it's almost impossible. $1 million in the first week, roughly, like immediately. And this is because they had a fresh core, a fresh take on poker.
Yeah, but
Poker
it's
and solitaire.
It's not just that. If you look at Apple Arcade, very recently, in the last few weeks, there's so many Steam titles that have been successful on Steam that are portable across to mobile that have been coming out on a regular basis, and they're really good games.
But they won't survive alone.
Yeah.
As
no,
Balatro.
of course.
If they knew mobile, they would have made it free to play with
Make so much more money.
Exactly.
Yes, but when you think that a lot of these companies are indie companies that are producing these games and they have very good stickiness, they have very good retention, if you're putting them on Apple Arcade, that's a really good monetization source. I mean, it's not as good, but it is a good source.
In our studio, Adam, we want the best.
It's what's your ambition, right?
But that's the point, right? Just to wrap up, it's like that proves the pudding. It proves that there's been a lot of innovation in other areas, in other sectors, and then importing it to mobile does work, but there's better.
But is that half of the problem with mobile is everything has to be a $100 million title now?
Well, I mean, look at console.
Doesn't need to. That's why there's the other way.
What's the other way?
Are you familiar with Path of Exile?
With?
Path of Exile.
Yeah, sure.
So there's this giant game that's gonna kick Diablo's ass next month basically. It's action RPG, actually one of the best ones. And what they run is that they're free to play, but in the end they're not free to play to begin with because they don't sell power. So it's not pay to win. It's kind of borderline to something like Wargaming World of Tanks, but World of Tanks, let's be honest, is kind of pay to win because you can buy the gold ammo. These guys are very strict, no power. But what they do, they sell utility. And this is their secret sauce because, of course, they have their cosmetic economy and, like, you know, the Fortnite stuff. But yeah, let's leave that as it is. That's not the way we want to do it. What they actually do, they sell utility, which means you can buy bigger inventory. You can buy inventory that will sort itself. You can buy more character slots. You can buy more of these, like...
You buy quality of life.
Yeah, you buy, literally. It's one-time purchases of quality of life. And this game is constantly hitting DAU records.
Yeah.
From 15 years.
Wow.
It was acquired by Tencent already, and they're releasing the second one after 15 years. And I'll tell you, it will be better than Diablo 4.
Scary.
And that's their secret sauce because they, and by the way, they have an auction house, but it's secret. Because you can buy the inventory stash tabs that can be indexed on their main site, so you can sell stuff through that, through player economy. Because they know it would destroy the game if they would just facilitate it on the main site altogether, but it's just somewhere there in the gray area. and that's the way, honestly, because it works on PC. It will probably have some mobile port later down the line, and it's the same as, let's say, Warframe, another big, giant PC free-to-play game, which again uses this pay-for-comfort model, basically.
But why do you say it's premium? Like you have to pay up front?
No, it's no premium. It's free-to-play.
Okay, it's free-to-play.
Free-to-play. But you never sell power. That's the important.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to move along slightly, right? We're going through the process of founding this company. I've seen a lot with founders. They get advice from all directions, and it gets very confusing and very hard to know what you should actually be doing. What would your advice be to founders, or what would you do in that situation?
No, if you're a founder of something which is already established, you probably didn't do it while listening to others, I would say, which is an arrogant thing to say.
No.
But I feel like, because that way you just create another thing which is already there, probably. And it's also like, you're not going to bring anything new and yours, right? So I would say that don't listen to anybody, almost. Almost. Besides your team.
I wouldn't go as far. So what I would say is you have to have a strong vision. Yeah. And so you should stay aligned with your own vision. Have a board of like advisors or something, but they can help you for things that are not your area of expertise, right? So if you're not really strong in finance, if you're not strong at like raising rounds of VC money, if you're not like the best at recruitment or whatever, like let them help you in the areas that you...
Not related to product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the product side, have your vision, you and your team, and focus on that. Of course, test, do market research, do customer research, do a lot of like marketability testing, do a lot of iterative building, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a strong vision or a strong thesis. And then like what you just need to be doing is trying to constantly validate that thesis.
I would say genre expertise is everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have the genre expertise, like you basically don't know what you're doing.
But then that kind of contradicts itself with white papers and best practices and that kind of stuff, doesn't it? Because should you be following those? Like, is that...
That's the part of it. If you have genre expertise, you know how much of them are like completely useless and what you actually need to do.
So just find the best people, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Fair point.
That's why best people get to race so fast, because they consider the best, so people throw money at them.
Yeah. The majority's experience, I guess. Yeah.
You know, like, we don't need to really go far. Like, just let's talk dream games.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
Very easy.
Yeah. But you look at Peak, right? So Dream Games, Spike, these are all like Turkish companies that came out of Peak.
Yeah.
So like, and
Genre expertise.
and they've stayed within puzzle. They've varied off to new subgenres. So obviously, like Peak was, like Toy Blast and Toon Blast, Tap to Blast. Royal Match is a match 3 swap. So it's a different subgenre within the puzzle genre. Spike is like they're doing their own genre, like tile stuff. At the end of the day, like they're still within the broader genre, but then they're kind of deviating into newer subgenres within that, or existing subgenres. But they haven't gone and done like a first-person shooter. Like.
So it's like a mix of taking that expertise, trying to use your core strengths, like you were saying, Luis. I actually, on that topic, I really believe that one indicator if a company is going to succeed or not is how much candor it has with itself, how much honesty it has with itself. So it's not just knowing what you're good at, is constantly questioning, am I doing the thing that I'm good at, or did I get lost in the sauce making this thing that I think that an investor told me I should be doing? And this is where I see a lot of companies like going astray. And they might forget that, hey, we're expert puzzle makers, and thus we are going to make puzzle games. And they might just, oh, maybe we should do another genre because it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, but basically, that's actually what happened there. Like, if you know, Spy Game's first game was Social Casino.
Yeah, and
completely
like,
failed. Rina said that, like, she still don't know how to do it, and then went for her expertise. That's it.
But I mean, that's kind of what happens when a company has a couple of games already and then goes for another game, because obviously they want to grow more, trying to find whether they should switch genres and move away from their expertise. That all becomes a bit messy, doesn't it?
Of course, but then you have the studios that constantly iterate, constantly check for what their users are looking for. The studios I've seen with the highest hit rate are the ones that are actually looking at the user's reaction, actually recording them and figuring out, oh, this was the right moment that the person had this specific reaction. On minute, let's say 11, there was an issue over here, and so let me iterate on that. And yes, it comes from genre expertise, but also comes from like this kind of straight up honesty of we're making this to please this person over here on the other side, and let's try to go for that. Not necessarily go like web free. And then
AI.
AI.
Whoa,
And
shots
then-
being fired.
Yeah, so one conversation I actually had yesterday multiple times is don't put the technology or the trend ahead of the product. It has to be a product that somehow, if you want to use a tech, great, but you're making a product first, not chasing a specific technology and then trying to fit a product into it. It barely ever works.
So what you're saying is make a good game.
But then we don't hit the, the VC bingo card.
No, that's true.
You can always slot it in
We're
somehow.
still making a company, though. We need to race.
Okay.
You can always just say, AI something.
All right, so like we for a long time it was the product guys would found the company, whatever, build the game, have the vision for the game. They would build that game. They would forget that it needs to be marketed, and then after a little while they would find some marketing people and say, "Hey, market this." Does that change now? Like, I mean, it feels like with all of the different problems that we have, GDPR, CCPA, scan, privacy sandbox.
I mean, we always when we do at Rovio, for example, when we start a new game team, we always have a product marketer there, and so they're meant to be looking at the market doing market analysis and player analysis, helping them with the product marketability, product market fit, doing a lot of the early testing, trying to see if we can get, because on our side, we want to always be casual, and what we mean by casual means mainstream. That's really what we mean by casual, and so like, how do we measure that? Well, can you get a low CPI, right? So like very quickly, like, do you get good marketability through like the players are actually interacting well with that? So like, that's and of course like the actual research itself and the qualitative data. So we're taking some of that quantitative data and some of the qualitative data to at least start off on the foot of this game going to have a wide funnel, and then it's the LTV challenge, which is really hard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
I would say also it's super important to have a marketing person as a part of the team, because if that doesn't happen, then you will have the good old blame game that, okay, so we are trying to market shitty product, or they cannot market our product, and that's those discussions you don't want to have. So you want them to be the same team.
Honestly, I'm as obsessive as product as possible, but in the current market, UA is more important. I'm sorry. Like, this is the fact that like some teams just needs to face. Like, let's take even the Royal Match example. Royal Match has the creatives that they're taking from Forex every month. Royal Match has every 10th level based on that fake creative. Royal Match uses it successfully all the time, and the whole game is built around this kind of simple thing because it's UA and it's UA driven. That's why they can scale. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
we can still make nice little games from here and there, but if you want to be the top, that's how you play.
Well, I mean, you need a strong LTV though, right?
Yeah,
so
that's the default version.
Yeah, exactly, right. So like if you, I mean, we notice like our Royal Match, for example, is like twice the LTV of our puzzle game, Dream Blast, and so we reach a certain level of scale that we it's hard for us to break that ceiling of scale.
Yeah.
Because our LTV can't compete head on with
Whereas they can
with
push
like
through it.
Royal Match, for example. So it's at the end of the day, it's the formula's never changed. It's strong LTV, strong marketability. And if you can
Bar is higher. That's it. The bar is higher. As I said, product needs to be perfect, like to begin with, and then UA just needs to be as better, even better.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can say from experience, like as someone who's been doing UA for the last 11 years, I feel like the amount of my time going into product each year increases considerably. And I feel like at the beginning, the skills were more around media buying and were more about, eventually about creatives. And now it becomes more about the connection between your UA, your marketing, and then your product. And that becomes more and more kind of a value that if studios don't respect, they usually tend to fail nowadays.
They fail hard, basically.
Yeah, hard.
All right, so we've only got a few minutes left, but as we've been through this entire process, and sort of knowing that corporate companies have got more and more risk adverse, I guess, as the sort of squeezes come in and everything else, what would your go-to be if we're going to deliver a game right now? Like, what genre would you go for? What type of game would you build?
Wow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would build Train Station 3.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like for me, it's always, if we are not having like giant team, like we're starting small, it's always hybrid casual these days. Best price performance ratio on capacity, risk reward, everything.
Can you still scale a hyper casual to the extent of being able to monetize it?
Yes, for sure, for sure. Of course, your hyper casual expertise will help you, but won't save you. You need the meta part, the progression on top of it. But I still think this is the best kind of a most approachable for small teams product way to kind of try to make it big in the market.
Solely hyper casual and not hybrid casual.
Hybrid, solely hybrid.
Hybrid.
I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Like, I'm starting to see that my love for roguelikes is seeping in slowly into mobile, and I'm really, really happy to see.
But can you actually, like, I've always found anything that I like isn't necessarily going to generate lots of money.
Oh, for sure, no. No. This is just pure luck. No, I agree with you. But I see that these genres that end up working on other mediums, so board games, Steam, and console, etc., they end up having some sort of truth that is universal.
Yeah.
And I think, for instance, these randomized games, these roguelike games, you can see this in Survivor Era, you can see this in all these games that, have these power-ups coming every level. So I'm starting to see this blending of the different platforms into seeping into mobile. And I think it's a great thing. It's just stuff that people actually enjoy. Yeah.
I completely agree with the whole merging of the PC and console and mobile. I think that's the way forward. And we've just hit time.
It's literally time.
Do we have time for questions, or is...
Yeah. Cool.
Did someone
She
say
said
yes?
yes. I heard a yes.
We have an instant hand raise.
Nathan's got his hand up.
Do you need a mic, or are you just going to yell?
I can yell. But
Okay.
We're going to hear you.
We can't hear.
it's because you're too loud yourself.
Sorry for that.
God damn.
I deserve that.
So I was reading, game science started from ex-Tencent guys who wanted to make a game that they couldn't make at Tencent, right? Black Myth Wukong. And one of the things, like you touched on it a few times, but one of the things that I'm thinking is, if you were starting that hypothetical studio, what kind of game would you want to play that you want to build? So each of you, maybe in a line, if you want to narrow it down to free to play, so it's not going to be a Steam game or a roguelike. It could be a roguelike. I'd love to hear what you actually want to play that you want to build.
I mean, if I could build Brawl Stars, I'd build Brawl Stars. I think it's one of the best games ever. I love that type of game, and but it's already been created, right? But I guess I'd like games that you can play multi-generation. So like Stumble Guys, Brawl Stars, FIFA. Those are games that I play with my 10-year-old. Yeah. So like I love that social interaction, multi-generation social interaction. So like yeah, something like that I guess would be my thing.
I'd have to go real-time strategy, like Age of Empires, anything like that. Like, yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, I would have to say probably something like Dig's Adventure, because I really, sorry for saying that, but I really do like the concept where you can really have fun doing it, right? Like you can put some story, but you don't have real limits with it, so it's a game, right? So there is no universe, so you can do whatever you want with that.
It's okay, no judgment.
Yeah, I felt there was a little bit of judgment from you.
What I really like, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, period, mic drop, that's it.
Jakob, I love that.
And as an evil marketeer who already answered my actual answer, I can now say the evil marketing answer, which is like, I'm not the audience. Like, you guys.
There we go.
Get him off. Boo.
Boo this man.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing, right? It's like, how do you get into the mind of the person that you're making the game for, right? So I preach this thing my entire career, which is kind of like ego death. It's like, you are not the person. Of course, you need to care, but then it becomes not a soulless act. It becomes more of a try to get the soul of that person, get it in yourself, and try to figure out, okay, if I am X, what really speaks to me for real? And I think that that's the difference between a soulless ripoff and something that actually works, is when you truly get there. So, but anyway, sorry for the...
Evil marketers.
I think you had a question as well. Maybe.
Actually, yeah, evil marketers stealing your soul. There you go.
Hey guys, thank you for the talk. It was very good, to be honest, seeing you all on the stage. And,
all of us.
You guys have mainly, so I see you a lot. So you guys have mainly talked about the diversification and the finding out the opportunities in on different kind of levels, on Steam, consoles, mainly mobile. My question is around, while we're talking about this diversification, the opportunities, developing the games, which department should take the lead role? Because I hear from Liz that product should take the lead, hear from Jakob that UA also is very important, and the others have different kind of things. Because I'm asking this, you gave the example of Balatro, but Balatro is a new game. So the risks were a little bit lower over there because they were already at the starting point. I'm getting there. Let me finish. So my question is, for a matured game or a matured gaming company to break its shell, to actually break its key identities, to catch the breeze of new eras, opportunities and everything, because it is a different kind of subject. If we think it from this side, creating something new is fairly very difficult, but the thing is that it's also the risks are a little bit lower because the financial responsibilities are also a little bit lower over there. But for a company, I'm giving the company for my company, so Product Madness, for example. So a social casino company, it's not really easy for a company to change its mindset to go for let's merge it with bingo, or let's merge it with hybrid casual games to find a different kind of things. Gamification part might also take part in this place, like puzzles or something like that. But the thing is that they cannot change the core values, core concepts over there. So my question is, which department should take the lead in this whole long
I'm going
question.
to defer,
Sorry
I'm going
about
to
that.
defer to Luis over here.
I mean, I would say this is actually a big debate because at Rovio, for example,
It is.
Rovio's been very bottom up, like very Finnish, like Supercell or King, where these are Nordic companies where you want the game teams to come up with their own ideas, etc. I am now starting to challenge the status quo, and I feel like the strategy team needs to be a little bit more involved and look at opportunities in the market, and then from that, try to identify which is the right team to build, go after that, and if you don't have the right team in-house, what developers externally can you work with to go after that opportunity? But so I think it's about, so I would say maybe it starts with maybe some top-down strategy as well. So maybe leadership or strategy teams.
That's interesting, because as soon as you said Supercell, I reminded myself of one key point, is that in what they do is they really segment away the new games teams very hard. It's like they have to keep them lean, they have to keep them small, have to keep them fed with that spirit of the startup, of the
But that
small
brings
studio.
the startup mentality into it, right? I mean,
Exactly.
That's
But how many new games have they come out with, right? So
That's also a good question.
I actually might agree a bit with Luis here that I think that's the problem, is that we've been trying to kid ourselves that bigger studios, big corporations and so forth, do act in the same way. They just simply do not. And it's almost impossible to replicate the conditions that you have at the very beginning of a studio where you're like, oh, where does my next paycheck come from? And that like fire under your belly just does not exist in the exact same way in a corporation.
Yeah.
It's almost physically impossible to recreate those circumstances. So it's very naive to think that you can. And so maybe it is a strategy that actually ultimately wins out. Yeah.
Like honestly, like double down on your expertise, iterate within your genre, and take UA as a predictor if there will be good or bad CPI. Like, very easy.
Very formulaic.
Like, why should you leave your expertise, man? Double down. Do what Coinmaster did with Pirate Kings, Monopoly did with Board Kings. Like, be the next Monopoly within your genre. Don't abandon what you have been doing for so many years.
I was going to say, with Product Madness,
Yeah.
I think the opportunity is ripe. Take your social casino expertise, but just find a way to wrap it in a much more casual experience.
Yeah.
And like broaden your funnel.
And,
Yeah,
and,
it's
your
honest
question, and your question was who, right? And the company also. So I feel that marketing is the eyes and the ears. They're not necessarily going to be the brain, but they are the eyes and the ears. And I think it's you cannot hide your head in the sand without those eyes and ears to do that. So I would say, like, get your designers to be, your genre experts.
It will be marketing.
Long story long.
So,
Right,
No, but it's a fusion, right? It's both.
It will be marketing, man.
We're
Trust
holding
me.
these people from their lunch, right? I just want to do one more
Selfie?
thing. I think we need to do
Yeah.
a quick selfie. So if you can just stay there for 2 seconds longer,
Look happy.
that would be absolutely amazing. I need to use this hand because it doesn't work otherwise.
Sorry, guys.
So
know.
nobody fall off the stage, please.
Jeez.
Oh,
Can we make it here?
There we go.
There we go.
Come on, give us a cheer or something.
Raise your hands. Cheers. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.